Oh, don't mind me. Just getting comfortable in my AKRacing Master Series premium chair. So, is it worth $500? 500 buckaroonies, 500 doll hairs. 2 chairs later, 1 broken armrest. Well, I guess I'll have to watch a video and find out. What's going on, guys? I'm Kyle, and today I'm back with another video. I've got the full review video of the AKRacing Master Series premium chair. So if you haven't already, I made a full video on the unboxing and assembly and setup of my first chair. Oh yeah, that's right. This isn't the first chair that I bought from AKRacing. It's the second one. If you haven't checked out the last video, I'll go ahead and link it in the right or left top of the screen. Go check that out and then come back and watch this video. So I think it's only right to start off the beginning of the story with the first chair. So I ordered a AKRacing Master Series premium chair. So they have different kind of levels within their chair series. Masters is the highest that you go. There's one below the premium, and then above the premium is the, I believe, the pro version. So I went on Best Buy. I was in need of a new chair. I saw this chair, it had great reviews. I had friends recommend it to me, friends that sit on a chair for 8 hours a day, and they said, Kyle, look at this AKRacing chair. I know you need a new chair. I checked it out on Best Buy, ordered one, got here fairly quickly, was decently priced, $500 decently priced. It was on sale at the time, but regularly goes for $529. That's US dollars. The chair arrived. I assembled it with so much excitement that I didn't even realize one of the levers was broken on the left side armrest. So imagine you're building this chair, you're excited, and then all of a sudden built it, and I know, don't look at me like that. I didn't realize, I just assumed that my chair would be put together in one piece, and it wasn't. So I'm actually gonna use the left armrest for reference. You're probably asking, Kyle, did you actually take that off your chair just for this video? No, AKRacing sent me a new one. So I am probably gonna send this back because I already bought a second chair. But hey, it kind of works for reference. So this portion right here, the lever that actually brings up the chair, was completely broken. So it was still functional, but you had to stick your finger kind of in this little slot.
That's what she said.
And be able to pull this kind of mechanism that's inside how this works and pull that up to actually operate the kind of height of the armrest. So once I realized that that was broken, I had to make the decision. I reached out to AKRacing and they said, we're so sorry for this inconvenience. Let's go ahead and send you out a left replacement armrest. The only problem was they didn't have a time of when it actually was gonna come to my house. So I said, I don't want to wait. It could be months, it could be a couple days, it could be weeks, it could be even longer than a couple months. So what I did was I just ordered a whole new chair. So now let's fast forward a little bit. After trying to package the whole chair that I had just assembled, deassembled it, put it back into the box, which didn't even close, put it in the trunk of my car, go to Best Buy, have everyone look at me carrying in this box that wasn't even closed, full of chair parts, to go ahead and then return it with Best Buy, which they had recommended, and then purchase a new one. Luckily, they had awarded the original promo price, which was around $460, because the price had jumped up to, like I said, the $520 US dollar price. So they awarded the discount price. I then proceeded to take it home and assemble it again. So that leads us into what was the assembly process like. Personally, with the first chair, I had a lot of issues. The instructions are, let's just say, not the best. There's no descriptions, there's no words, just kind of pictures, and you kind of have to squint into little boxes. It's kind of like a little comic strip, basically, where it separates it out into different parts. And obviously the second time was a lot easier because I'd already done it one time and I knew exactly what to do. But when it comes to assembly, it's not that difficult, and hopefully after this video you can kind of take some of my tips, what helped me and what I learned from kind of my first process, and how I actually got it done and finished within a fraction of the time that it took to get the first one done. So tips on the actual assembly portion: it comes in the actual back part, so where your back is resting up against, where your butt goes on, so the actual bottom cushion part. The armrests are actually attached to the chair itself. AKRacing, if you're watching, one recommendation that I have is maybe taking the armrest off of the bottom portion and then concealing that somewhere else in the packaging. That way it's not all one piece together and just it makes the faulty of shipping less. The next couple parts are the actual mechanism that raises and lowers your chair, and then there's other one that activates the tilt portion, so if you're stuck like this, or if it allows you to go all the way back. And then the last portion is the metal kind of spacing out that dispersed below the chairs, which the wheels actually attach to. So it's actually not that complicated. There's not too many parts that it comes with. You're not, putting the cushion together and these, 50 million screws. I think it's like 3 screws that they give you for the sides. Any recommendation that I can give is find a flat surface that is obviously, if it's on the ground, that works okay. But like I did on my bed, it works even better because I'm a lot taller, so I don't have to hunch over. But I would definitely recommend you're going to start off with the base portion of the chair. And then you're, like I said, this is the second part. So you take this and then you go ahead and put it on. And there's kind of these little levers on the side, metal levers. And my recommendation is what I found, the leather cuttings, so where the screws actually go through the leather, don't always match up. So just take your patience, set it in. There's one side with a lever that allows you to go all the way back. You're going to want to put the screws in on the opposite side first, and then you're going to go ahead and put the screws in on where the lever is. So just kind of a little shortcut so you don't have to stress over that, which is something that I did with my first chair. Then after that, it's pretty simple. Like I said, the arms are already attached to the bottom portion, and then you have the bottom kind of mechanism that allows for height and tilt as well. And that's not too difficult. You just kind of flip the chair over, take the screws out that are already in the base portion, and then go ahead and put that into the actual mechanism. And then you just plop this little kind of pull thing straight into the metal kind of portion that attaches to the wheels, and you're pretty much done. The most kind of strenuous and time-consuming part is putting the screws in the side, kind of these 2 little metal levers that come up, which is really cool. That AKRacing provides as little covers as well, so they cover those metal kind of rods that are, or supports, I guess is a better way of saying it, on this side. So let's go ahead and get right into comfortability. So I've had this now, the second chair. I had the first chair, and like I said, functionally nothing was wrong with the actual chair, the first one, but obviously it was a pain to kind of stick my finger into the little kind of slot there and drag the armrest up and down. But when it came to comfortability and the actual cushion itself for both the back as well as the bottom cushion where my butt meets, it's very comfortable. I've had this new one, the second one. I hate that I have to say the second one, but at least I have a second one, and it's all together. So thank you, AKRacing. They actually commented on my last video with a ton of support, which was a big plus. If you know me, I love customer service, and I love good customer service, and they've been great so far. So comfortability. I don't know if I want to give like a 1 to 10 scale. I would just say it's very comfortable. This is kind of on their bigger size. They obviously, some of the lower series are smaller chairs, and they have all their size measurements on the actual site, so go ahead and check that out. But I would say it's very comfortable. They kind of have these little strap supports that are underneath, so when you get your chair, you can kind of see how everything works basically, or at least the little straps and how they support the kind of bottom portion or bottom cushion. But overall, it's very comfortable. I am kind of a little more wider on my hips, so they have these kind of side bolsterings, I would call them, like in a kind of more race car or a higher end kind of exotic car, if you've ever sat in one. But it's not too uncomfortable. When I'm gaming, you kind of feel very hugged, but not too much, which is something that I was kind of concerned about. I'm not like a super, scrawny small dude, so I was kind of worried about, the bolsterings, but it's perfect. It doesn't squeeze you, doesn't make you feel kind of claustrophobic or like you don't fit in your chair. So when it comes to the actual back kind of cushioning portion, super comfortable. The reason I got this chair is because my last chair, the back part had kind of broken, so I couldn't lean back. Well, I could lean back, but all the way back, and that's not something that I wanted to do. But super comfortable. They kind of have this little portion that meets your actual back that is kind of almost separated from the actual kind of back portion of the chair. And obviously I'll have some B-roll here to kind of show you in further detail. But it's a super nice feature and it looks super nice as well, but super comfortable both on the butt cushion portion as well as the back. Super thick cushioning. It's not like very thin. My last chair, the cushioning was kind of thin, so it's nice to have a lot of cushion on this, and you can definitely feel it. So now let's talk about the actual kind of lumbar support slash pillows. So I have one I'm readjusting right now. So there's one on what I would assume is called the actual lumbar, so it sits on your lower back to kind of mid back, and obviously you can adjust that as well. There's these two straps. You can move that up and down, and then obviously you kind of have this neck pillow right here that doesn't really go up and down. You can kind of move it, but it just naturally kind of sits right above your shoulders and then kind of below the point of your skull on the back of your neck, and it kind of just sits there very comfortably. Very happy with having these options as well. I looked at a lot of chairs that didn't even have this. So for $500, that's definitely a nice feature. And all of this is what they call PU leather, which I'll get into a little bit. But it's super nice quality, super nice texture, super nice feel. You're not too hot when you're sitting in it. And it's just kind of overall, the cushion is super supportive, super thick padding. You're not hugged too much, but you're hugged enough. And then the lumbar with the pillows and the neck pillow as well is very nice. Then we get into the 4D armrest. That's actually what they call them. A couple of the lower series have what they call 3D armrest. These are called the 4D armrest. And what that basically means is you have height, so you can go up and then you can go down. And then you have back and forward as well. And then, sorry for your ears there. And then it goes left and right as well. And then twists kind of back and forth like this as well. So 4 ways: up and down, side to side, tilt like this, and then forward and backwards. 4D is what they call it. Kind of makes sense. 4 different features is basically how I would explain it. But overall, the comfortability is very nice. I couldn't tell you what the actual kind of material is of the actual armrest where your arm is resting, but it's very comfortable. You can kind of impress a little bit on it. That's kind of my own word that I just made up right now, but it's very comfortable. A lot of the time, I find myself not, putting my arms in there, and I'm like, okay, well, I have armrests, might as well use them. So I put my arms back down, and it's very comfortable. They don't feel uncomfortable at all, and it's nice to have those adjustments, especially like me, I'm wider in the shoulders, so I can kind of push those out and my arms fit perfectly. And if you're more narrow, in your shoulders, then you'd be able to push them in perfect. If you want your arms out for whatever reason or arms in, you have that functionality. Now let's talk about rolling. I have a carpet, a pretty deep carpet, so I didn't know how the rolling kind of function out. A lot of people either have hardwood floors or they have those little mats. I have neither, and the rolling's perfect. I don't have any problems. There's a couple times where I kind of get stuck, but my last chair, I had tons of problems with it getting stuck, and I had to kind of push myself forward. And when I was gaming or I was editing, that was kind of a pain in the ass and definitely a frustration. But with these rolling wheels, they're super high quality. They roll very nicely on a thick carpet. So I'd imagine if you had an even thinner carpet or even hardwood, you wouldn't even have a complaint or a worry about the rolling of a chair around your office. So let's talk about quality. Like I said earlier, they use what's called a PU leather. So it's kind of a synthetic leather. It's not a real leather. And I don't know if you'd fully want a real leather, and you probably pay a lot more than $500 for real leather, but it's perfect. When I talked to my friend before I actually bought this chair, and he said it feels like real leather. You don't even notice that it's fake or synthetic, which is perfect for me. I love aesthetic to a certain degree. I don't want to pay, over than I should just for real leather. But the quality is super nice. The seams, there's not like any kind of cushioning coming out of it or thread coming out of it. Everything just feels high quality. Aluminum as well, so the base is aluminum. Different series have different kind of components that they use for their base. This one's aluminum. I believe they call it aluminum tinsel, and there's different degrees of tinsel. That's a whole other science experiment that I have no point into going to. Overall quality is great. Great metals. Nothing feels cheap. Nothing feels like it's gonna break. The levers could maybe be a little higher quality. They're just a small piece, so it's probably easy to break. So I wish those were a little bit higher quality. But other than that, It's super high quality, super soft. It doesn't feel like synthetic leather. It feels kind of real, but overall quality is definitely an A+. So 2 more things that I wanted to mention, kind of smaller things, but obviously you're probably using this with the desk. And something I thought was really cool is this goes really low. So I don't know, maybe a shorter person might use the lowest setting, but for me it kind of works perfectly with fitting it under my desk. I know, like I said, small kind of thing that you probably wouldn't think about, but maybe it is. Maybe some chairs you can't push all the way in. With this, you don't have that as a worry. At the end of my gaming session, at the end of my photo editing session, I take the seat, I adjust the height all the way down to the minimum, take the armrest, since you have that availability to put them all the way down. Fits perfectly under my desk. It doesn't stick out. I don't have to walk past it and move it. A nice little feature that you probably wouldn't think about when buying it, but it's there and it's available to you. Then lastly, branding. I'm not a big person with a ton of branding on things and big logos and all those crazy things. If you do it nicely, then I'm definitely appreciative of the company and the actual product itself. But you have the AKRacing here, AKRacing here, and then one on the actual pillow. The beauty of it is, if I was streaming or like I'm filming a YouTube video, you don't see the pillow AKRacing, and you probably don't see the one that's on my back because my back's covering it. You might see this one, but that's about it. No other branding on the armrests, no big logoing, no obnoxious logo. It's perfect. It's nice aesthetic as well, and just small little branding. So I've talked about the comfortability, I've talked about the assembly, I've talked about the quality, I've talked about the armrest, I've talked about the branding, I've talked about the rolling around ability, the storage ability, and we've made it all the way till the end of the video. So is it worth $500? $500 hairs, $500 roonies. I don't know what I said in the beginning. Yes and no. I think my final full review is, if you have the $500, maybe you asked for it for your birthday, or you asked for it for Christmas, you asked for some money, you got some money, you found some money, and you had the means of spending $500, $520 to be exact, on a chair, then I say go for it. If you don't, if your chair works all right, then I would just stick with your chair. But also, I have a hard time kind of finding the scale of prices for chairs. I've seen as low as $100, as well I've seen up to $1,500 with Herman Miller. I think with the $500 and the prices that I've seen with other chairs, obviously I haven't reviewed all of them, I would say if you have the means and you have the $500 to be able to spend on this, and you know what I mean when I say that, then go ahead and get it. It's super comfortable. I like I said, I haven't compared it to all the other chairs. I could probably do that in the future, so look out for that video, or look out for those videos. But overall, like I said, if you have the 500 and you're looking for a comfortable gaming chair that what I feel is going to last for a very long time, then I would recommend it. Other than the mishap of having 2 chairs, not only one, and having to send it back and go through all of that hardship. But AKRacing was very helpful. The customer service was great. And like I said in the beginning, that's a big plus for me. I look for great customer service. But overall, a great chair, super comfortable. I think the price is maybe a little too high. My only recommendation that I had was for AKRacing to separate the actual armrest from the bottom portion and shipping, and the shipping process and the actual box. But other than that, great chair. If you're looking for a new gaming chair and you game a lot, or you're at your desk, or like I said, you're at your desk for 8 hours a day at work, go ahead and check out AKRacing. They have a whole ton of different series. It's not sponsored, but they have a ton of different series of chairs, all the way up to the Master Series, what I'm sending now, the premium version. But that has been the full video. If you liked it, go ahead and give a like down below. Subscribe, it means the world to me. Comment, I reply to all of them, I read all of them. I'm here for what you have to say, and I will see you in the next video.